Travis Kelce's wedding to Taylor Swift should have been the happiest moment of his life. Instead, what he revealed afterward has fans genuinely worried. Will this marriage really last? A lot of people aren't so sure. Let me break down everything that's been happening. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got married on a Friday evening at Madison Square Garden, and by Saturday morning, the internet had moved on from the dress and the vows to something a lot more unsettling for Chiefs fans. Who exactly was sitting in those seats? Practically everyone from the NFL on Fox broadcast team was in attendance, including Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, Michael Strahan, Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman. Nearly the entire Prime Video Thursday Night Football crew showed up too. Tony Gonzalez, Richard Sherman, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Andrew Whitworth. Throw in a strong ESPN contingent with Joe Buck, Rich Eisen, Pat McAfee, and Stephen A. Smith, and you had what looked less like a wedding reception and more like a broadcast booth reunion. That's when NFL insider Mike Florio started connecting dots that fans really did not want connected. Awful Announcing theorized that Travis used his invite list to curry favor with the NFL broadcasters he'd most like to work for after he retires. Florio didn't just entertain the theory, he ran with it. Florio pointed out the heavy presence of NFL people from Amazon and Fox, noting Jim Nantz and Tony Romo were there, while nobody from NBC seemed to attend, calling it potential breadcrumbs for what Travis is thinking about by way of media opportunities as soon as 2027. Then came the line that made Chiefs fans sit up straight. Florio flatly stated, this is his last year. Now, here's the thing that makes this scarier for fans than a normal retirement rumor. Kelce had already been through this exact anxiety spiral once this year. Back in March, before the wedding was even locked in, Kelce sat down for a New Heights episode and gave what one reporter called his most telling comments yet about walking away from the game. During that appearance, Travis was asked by Randy Moss what he'll miss most about the NFL whenever he decides to retire. The way he answered it, not what he said, but the tone, set off alarm bells across sports media. His brother Jason had been trying to keep a lid on the speculation for months. Back in December, when the retirement chatter first started swirling around the pending wedding, Jason went on ESPN and tried to slow everyone down. "Well, I'm curious too," Jason said on Monday Night Countdown, adding that to nail the decision, Travis needed to step away from the game for a bit, enjoy his last games with teammates and coaches, and let the decision come to him with time, since personal life changes were ahead with the pending marriage to Swift. For a while, it worked. The Chiefs missed the playoffs after Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL, and it seemed like the perfect exit ramp for a guy who'd already won 3 Super Bowls and was about to marry the biggest pop star on the planet. After the season wrapped, Travis was still uncertain about his future, telling the Kansas City Star, "Who knows, either it hits me quick or I gotta take some time." Then in early March, ESPN insider Nate Taylor dropped a report that flipped the entire narrative. Taylor reported on the Cody Gold show, "He's coming back, guys. Every indication I've gotten is that Travis Kelce is looking forward to coming back. When we'll know that for sure, that's really his prerogative." Days later, it became official. The New Heights Instagram account shared the news, writing, "He's back. Travis Kelce is back with the Chiefs for year 14. The NFL confirmed Kelce would play the 2026-2027 season, sharing a video captioned, "He's not done yet." So by the time the wedding rolled around, fans thought the retirement conversation was closed. Kelce was suiting up for year 14. Case closed, right? Except then the guest list happened, and Florio's breadcrumb theory reopened the entire wound. Because if Kelce really is filling Madison Square Garden with the exact executives who'd be signing his next contract, that's not a coincidence. That's a man quietly building his landing pad. Now that Kelce is married, fans can't help but wonder if he'll begin prioritizing his relationship more and more, especially since eventually Father Time will catch up to the tight end. Adding fuel to it, one outlet dug into just how much money is potentially on the table once he does walk away. Florio floated the idea that Kelce could land both an Amazon and Fox broadcasting gig, estimating the over-under at $40 million combined, $25 million for Amazon and $15 million for Fox, while comparing it to Tom Brady's reported $375 million deal. That's on top of the roughly $111 million Kelce has already made across 13 NFL seasons. For fans, the math is simple and a little terrifying. A guy who just made $111 million playing football, who's now married into arguably the biggest brand on earth, and who just spent his wedding reception surrounded by the exact TV executives who pay him $40 million to sit behind a desk. That's not someone who sounds locked in for a long football future. That's someone measuring the door. And it's not just outside analysts reading tea leaves. Kelce himself, months before any of this, gave an answer on his own podcast that in hindsight reads like a warning shot. Talking with Jason about the physical toll, Travis explained that constantly reaching the AFC Championship and Super Bowl means playing 3 extra games more than everybody else in the league. A lot of wear and tear on your body and a lot of time spent in the building focusing on your craft, focusing on the task at hand and every challenge that you set up for yourself. He added that the whole process can be grueling. That's not a guy talking like someone who sees 5 more years ahead of him. That's a guy who just got married, has generational wealth waiting either way, and spent his own reception seated across from the people who'd hand him a soft landing, the second he decides he's done carrying that wear and tear. So going into the rest of this story, keep that tension in your back pocket because it's about to collide with a second, much messier problem. Everything that leaked out of that wedding that Kelce and Swift never wanted the world to see in the first place. If the retirement guest list rattled fans quietly, the leaks rattled them loudly, and they started almost the moment the ceremony ended. Kelce and Swift had reportedly built one of the tightest security perimeters ever assembled for a private event. There was reportedly a strict no-phone policy for guests, as well as event staff and security. Midtown blocks were closed to both vehicles and pedestrians to ensure total privacy for the incoming guests. This was a couple who had spent months dodging tabloids and even planted a fake wedding rumor in Rhode Island to throw people off the scent. And still, within hours, the details were pouring out anyway. It started with the invitation itself. A photo of the invitation was seemingly shared by Ashish Ferguson, the brother of Kelce's childhood friend and former personal chef, in photos from the July 4 weekend, before the photo was deleted, though not before users grabbed a screenshot. The wording was simple. It read, "You're invited July 3rd, 2026, Manhattan, love Taylor and Travis." That's when fans turned from curious to genuinely spooked. Because if a private wedding invitation with that level of security still made it online within a day, what does that say about anything else Kelce and Swift try to keep private going forward? Commenters flooded the post, pointing out exactly that risk. One user wrote, "I guess we forgot about the NDA. You sure they wanted their save the date card out there?" Another response captured the darker read on it. Someone else asked, "Did Taylor like her leaks? That's a death sentence." That's a genuinely unsettling comment to sit with, not because anyone thinks Ferguson was in real danger, but because it shows how seriously people around this couple treat confidentiality breaches. When your circle jokes about NDA violations being a death sentence, that tells you how much pressure sits on everyone who got a golden ticket into that room. And Ferguson wasn't alone. The leaks kept snowballing from people who should have known better. AMC's CEO, one of the most recognizable business executives in the country, posted an entire play-by-play of the reception before quietly deleting it. Adam Aron, one of the guests, shared in a now-deleted X post that the couple transformed the venue into a secret garden, complete with large photos of Swift and Kelce at every age. He kept going even after deleting the first post, describing the color scheme and the ceremony itself in granular detail. Aaron described the color scheme as peach and white, praising the couple for magically transforming Madison Square Garden into an outdoor garden at a lush countryside retreat, with real flowers and I think artificial trees, adding, "There were large blown-up pictures of Taylor and Travis at each age, year by year, hung around the arena." He didn't stop there either. Of the ceremony, Aaron wrote it was preceded by some relaxing and mellow romantic songs, while a few violins and cello ushered in the wedding party, describing Kelce as white tux and Swift's jaw-dropping dress with a long veiled train, and calling the vows long, entertaining, personal, charming, emotional, irreverent, and endearing. Then there's Joseph Kahn, the filmmaker and longtime Swift collaborator, who posted a gushing recap that read like he'd forgotten there was ever a no-phone policy in the first place. He wrote on Instagram, "Had a wonderful time at Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce's wedding last night. I got to meet Steven Spielberg and the lovely Kate Capshaw and talk filmmaking with the GOAT." He later added more color about the atmosphere inside, telling followers it was so much funnier and emotional than expected, that literally everyone was there, and that it was like living in the internet, joking even AI would crack trying to render it. Country star Maren Morris chipped in her own leak, posting a photo of one of the personalized wedding favors. She shared a photo of a white handkerchief embroidered with "So It's Gonna Be Forever," a nod to Swift's 2014 hit Blank Space. Two more guests went to NBC News directly with even more granular details about the reception. Attendees told NBC News that guests played games to win raffle tickets, which they could use to try to win prizes including designer handbags and a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle. Similar to the car the couple rode in for their first public date in 2023. So within 48 hours, a wedding that was designed to be the most locked-down private event in celebrity history had been reconstructed online almost frame by frame. The flowers, the food, the vows, the favors, even the getaway car nod. For a couple worth a combined net worth in the billions, with Swift's empire alone recently crossing a staggering financial threshold, that kind of security failure isn't just embarrassing. It's a preview of what the rest of their married life might look like, if even a wedding this fortified couldn't hold. And if that were the only leak, it might have blown over in a week. But it wasn't, because buried underneath the flowers and favors gossip was a much darker thread that fans are still trying to untangle. One involving the guest list itself, and exactly who Kelce and Swift let inside that room. Here's where the story stopped being cute wedding gossip and started genuinely worrying fans. Because in among the movie stars, musicians, and NFL legends, one name on the guest list didn't fit, and it wasn't a celebrity at all. Fact checkers had to step in almost immediately. Snopes investigated a rumor spreading online that the top official of a government contractor had attended Swift and Kelce's wedding, contacting the company, an Ohio State representative's office, and Swift's reported wedding planner for comment. The name at the center of it was Stephen Demetriou. Demetriou, the executive chairman of Amentum, allegedly attended the event with his son, a Republican Ohio State representative. For a fan base that has spent years watching Swift position herself as an outspoken advocate on political and social causes, the idea that a defense and government service contractor executive might have had a seat at her wedding lit up group chats and comment sections overnight. It didn't matter that the story was still being verified. The rumor alone was enough to make fans nervous about who actually had access to that room. And why? This is the part of the aftermath that's genuinely uncomfortable, because it sits right next to everything else that leaked. Think about it. A room with 1,000 guests, a no-phone policy that got broken within hours, an invitation that ended up online, a CEO live streaming details in real time, and now a name tied to government contracting work circulating through the same guest list. Put those pieces next to each other, and you start to understand why fans describe this period as terrifying rather than just messy. It's worth remembering the scale we're talking about here too. This wasn't a backyard ceremony with 50 people who all know each other personally. Swift and Kelce reportedly hosted over 1,000 wedding guests, including longtime friends Selena Gomez, Abigail Anderson, Lena Dunham, Gigi Hadid, Jack Antonoff, Taylor's publicist Tree Payne, Andy Reid, and several current and former chiefs. With a star-studded 1,000-person guest list, the question of who actually made the ultimate cut to stand at the altar became its own story. When you're managing a list that large, with security teams, caterers, florists, a production crew building an entire indoor garden, and hundreds of individually vetted invitations, the reality is that total control becomes almost impossible. No concerts, games, or other public events were scheduled at Madison Square Garden between June 29 and a Bon Jovi concert on July 7, clearing the entire building out for this one event. That's the kind of logistical footprint you'd expect for a head of state visit, not a private ceremony. And even with that level of planning, the guest list controversy still slipped through. New York City itself felt the weight of the operation. Trucks were seen unloading equipment ahead of the reported wedding, while New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani sidestepped questions about it, instead stressing that the city was prepared for a busy holiday weekend and staying cool during an expected heat wave. Police leadership was clearly aware of the stakes involved too. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch declined to confirm the wedding's exact timing, but said, "I would be remiss not to mention an event that we are tracking at Madison Square Garden on Friday night. The NYPD will, of course, have a detail in place, but I'm not going to go into more specifics on that at this time." That's a police commissioner treating a celebrity wedding with the same public caution, usually reserved for events with actual security implications. And fans noticed when you combine a guest list rumor involving a government contractor, a police commissioner declining to detail security specifics, and a wedding that already had NDA leaks pouring out in real time. You get a story that stopped feeling like harmless celebrity gossip and started feeling like something people genuinely wanted answers about. To be clear, the Amentum story was still being run down by fact-checkers even days later, and nothing about it was confirmed to involve any wrongdoing whatsoever. But the fear it created among fans wasn't really about politics. It was about control, about realizing that even Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, with all their money and all their security, couldn't fully dictate who ended up associated with their biggest day. And that loss of control theme doesn't stop with the guest list. It carries straight into the next part of this story, because one of the biggest surprises of the entire wedding weekend came from someone nobody expected to hear from at all. A member of an actual royal family sitting down for a podcast interview on the exact day of the ceremony. If leaks and guest list controversies weren't enough to keep fans on edge, then this next reveal absolutely did it. On the same day Travis Kelce got married, a member of the British royal family showed up on his podcast. Prince William made a surprise appearance on the Kelce brothers' New Heights podcast on Friday, revealing that his father, King Charles, hates football, even though William himself is a lifelong Aston Villa fan. The timing wasn't a coincidence either. The full episode dropped on the very day Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift tied the knot at Madison Square Garden, with Jason Kelce introducing William as a 6'3" prince from London, England, before rattling off several of his official titles. Jason clearly relished the moment. Running through the full formal introduction, listing his various roles, Jason said, "That's right, the president of the English Football Association, the vice-royal patron of the Welsh Rugby Union, the Duke of Cambridge, the Duke of Cornwall, the Lord of the Isles, Prince and Great Steward of Scotland, Earl of Chester, and the Prince of Wales." But the real bombshell wasn't the podcast segment itself. It was what came out afterward. People reported that the Prince of Wales and Princess Kate had secretly met with Swift and Kelce ahead of the wedding. A secret pre-wedding meeting with future British monarchs. Kelce himself talked about the encounter on his own show afterward, clearly still processing the surrealism of it. Travis later told Jason, "They were an absolute delight to me. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to bow to them or curtsy, or just be an American idiot and shake their hand." He also opened up about meeting the couple's daughter, describing the interaction warmly. Travis and William were particularly impressed with Charlotte, whom Travis called a superstar. Jason, who has daughters of his own, admitted his soft spot for her too. He said she had fire to her. She was asking questions. That was the most electric part of it. This wasn't the first time the royal family's interest in Swift had come up either. Just 2 months earlier, William had revealed on a radio broadcast just how deep that interest ran. In May, William revealed the Love Story singer was Charlotte's favorite artist, telling Heart Radio, "Charlotte, my daughter, and Louis to be fair. But Charlotte particularly is obsessed by Taylor Swift." At the time, he'd played coy about actually attending the ceremony himself. Asked if he'd be attending Swift and Kelce's wedding, he laughed and told the broadcaster, "No comment." For fans, putting these two data points together, a secretive pre-wedding royal meeting that only surfaced after the fact, and a no comment that turned out to be covering for exactly that meeting, created a genuinely uneasy feeling. If a future king of England can quietly meet with this couple and keep it hidden from the public until after the wedding, what else has been kept hidden? It's the same anxiety running through every part of this story. Even with cameras everywhere and leaks pouring out daily, the biggest reveals were still the ones nobody saw coming, until it was too late to stop them. William didn't just talk about Swift and Kelce either. The appearance covered a wide range of topics that gave fans an unusually intimate look at his personal life, all timed to drop during the biggest celebrity event of the year. Asked whether his father had gotten him into football, William didn't hesitate. "Absolutely not. My father hates football." He went on to explain where his passion for the sport actually came from. William, who has been president and now patron of the English Football Association since 2010, said his own football love came from friends, explaining, "My family haven't got a particularly long history with football. My football love came from friends taking me to my first match." He even weighed in on England's World Cup chances, adding a layer of real-world stakes to an already surreal episode. On England's chances at the World Cup, William said he was quietly confident in the squad under manager Thomas Tuchel, and confirmed he'd fly across the pond if they reached the final, saying, If we're in the finals, we'll definitely be there. And in a moment that perfectly captured just how thoroughly this royal appearance had merged with the wedding spectacle, William was even asked to compare Kelce's football career to his relationship with Swift. Asked which was more iconic at Wembley Stadium, Travis's 2015 touchdown against the Lions, or his backup dancer moment with Taylor Swift, William picked the Swift moment. It's a strange thing to sit with, a future king ranking a viral dance moment over an NFL touchdown on the exact day that same NFL player married the world's biggest pop star. That's the level this wedding operated on. Global royalty, treating it like a cultural event worth commenting on. Security officials tracking it like a matter of public safety, and NDA-bound guests leaking details within hours regardless. Every layer of control the couple tried to build around this day, cracked in a different place. So where does all of this leave Kelce, Swift, and the fans who've spent the better part of 3 years emotionally invested in this relationship? That's where we land next. So here's where things actually stand. Travis Kelce is married. He's also, according to every confirmed report, still gearing up to play his 14th NFL season with the Chiefs this fall. Not only is Kelce returning for the 2026 season, he stated that retirement was never really something he heavily considered. The team is leaning on him more than ever too. The Chiefs will be leaning heavily on Kelce yet again in 2026, having not added any significant receiving help during the offseason, with no other tight end on the roster coming close to matching his impact. But the numbers tell a slightly different story than the confidence. The newly married tight end fell several spots in a respected league-wide ranking, dropping from 37th the previous year despite eclipsing 13,000 career receiving yards and finishing his 13th season with 1,080 career receptions, good for 8th all-time regardless of position. He's got at least one more season with the Chiefs to wrap up what's been one of the greatest careers in NFL history for a tight end. Whether at least one more turns into 2, 3, or ends the moment this season closes is still genuinely unknown. And that uncertainty is exactly what's kept fans unsettled since the wedding. What we do know is that his personal life has fundamentally shifted the calculus. The wedding came on the heels of the couple donating $26 million to 20 local and national charities across the U.S., split across children's hospitals, food banks, and music programs, in places with personal ties to the pair, including New York, Kansas City, Nashville, and Rhode Island. That's not the move of two people trying to stay low-key. It's the move of two people settling into a very public, very permanent next chapter, one where every choice, football or otherwise, gets analyzed under a microscope. And that microscope isn't going away. If anything, the wedding proved it's gotten stronger. Even something as private as a honeymoon is already being speculated about by people close to the situation. One journalist who studies Swift's career professionally weighed in on what might be coming creatively. Swift and Kelce haven't shared a honeymoon destination or other post-wedding plans, but a journalist and NYU professor who teaches a course about the pop star said she thinks there's probably new music on the way. That's the pattern with this couple now. Every silence gets filled with speculation, and every leak gets amplified into a headline. The people closest to them keep trying to describe the day in human terms, not spectacle terms, and it keeps getting swallowed by the noise anyway. Kelce's own mother tried to keep her description simple when Macy's asked her about it days later. Donna Kelce said in the video, "I really can't say a heck of a lot except it was magical. Man, magical." Other guests echoed that same warmth. Country singer Kelce Ballerini referenced one of Swift's own lyrics to sum up the night. She wrote on X, "Long live a love story," adding, "Congrats on the most beautiful wedding, Taylor Swift 13 Kelce. I'm still crying and dancing." Sportscaster Erin Andrews kept her praise similarly brief. Andrews echoed Donna Kelce in an Instagram post, calling the evening magic. And author Glennon Doyle, when asked directly if the night lived up to the hype, didn't hold back. Doyle responded to a commenter asking if the event was fabulous, with "yes" and "tender," and somehow so big yet so small, intentional, real. So much joy, and I can say without hyperbole that I've never witnessed a happier bride or groom. Those are the warm human accounts, but they exist in the same timeline as the leaked invitation. The deleted CEO posts, the guest list rumors Snopes had to run down, and the retirement breadcrumbs Florio laid out for anyone paying attention, to the broadcast booth seating chart. Both things are true at once. It really was, by every account, one of the most joyful nights these people had ever witnessed, and it also became one of the least private, least controlled celebrity events in recent memory, almost immediately. That's really what's kept fans on edge since July 3rd. Not one single scandal, but the accumulation of small cracks, a name that shouldn't have leaked, a guest list rumor nobody fully answered, a security posture that a police commissioner wouldn't detail, a media seating chart that reads like a retirement resume, and a couple who insists none of that changes anything about what comes next. For now, Kelce heads back to training camp. The Chiefs are counting on him for one more run, maybe more. Swift, according to those close to her, is already being nudged toward another album. And somewhere in between all of that, two people who tried to build the most private day of their lives are still finding out, one leak at a time, exactly how much privacy, money, and security can actually buy. The answer so far seems to be less than anyone